I'm going to show you 7 scientifically proven methods that will completely transform how you handle negative thoughts. And by the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit that can shut down mental spirals in minutes, not hours or days. These aren't just feel-good techniques. These are evidence-based strategies that rewire your brain's response to negativity faster than you ever thought possible. Right now, negative thoughts are operating like invisible assassins in your mind. They slip in undetected, hijack your mental processes, and create what neuroscientists call a neurological storm of stress hormones. Your brain releases cortisol and adrenaline, putting you in a state of psychological emergency over situations that often exist only in your imagination. You're essentially living in a mental prison where your own thoughts have become the warden. But here's what most people don't understand about negative thinking. Your brain is literally designed to focus on threats and problems. It's called the negativity bias, and it served our ancestors well when they needed to spot predators. Today, this same system treats your boss's email tone like a saber-toothed tiger attack. Your ancient brain can't tell the difference between real danger and imagined catastrophe. Before we dive into these 7 methods, hit that like button if you've ever found yourself stuck in a cycle of negative thinking. Your engagement helps me reach more people who need these tools. And trust me, understanding how your mind works is the first step to taking back control. The first method is called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique, and it's based on interrupting what psychologists call rumination. When you're spiraling into negative thoughts, your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, goes offline. This technique forces it back online by engaging your senses. You identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This sensory engagement literally pulls your brain out of the thought loop and anchors it in reality. Studies show this technique can reduce anxiety symptoms by up to 60% in just 2 minutes. Method 2 is cognitive reframing, which sounds fancy, but it's actually simple. Your thoughts aren't facts, they're interpretations. When you think something like, "I always mess everything up," you're not stating reality, you're running a mental program that's probably been installed since childhood. Cognitive reframing means asking yourself 3 questions. Is this thought helpful? Is it accurate? What would I tell a friend thinking this? Research from Stanford University shows that people who practice cognitive reframing show measurable changes in brain activity within just 4 weeks. The areas associated with negative rumination literally shrink, while regions linked to emotional regulation grow stronger. The third method exploits something called the generation effect. Your brain remembers and believes information more strongly when you actively participate in creating it rather than passively receiving it. Instead of just thinking your way out of negativity, write down 3 alternative explanations for whatever situation is bothering you. If you're worried about a presentation going badly, write down 3 ways it could go well, or 3 ways the outcome might not matter as much as you think. The physical act of writing engages different neural pathways and creates what neuroscientists call cognitive flexibility. Method 4 is the 2-minute rule, based on the psychology of temporal distancing. When negative thoughts hit, set a timer for exactly 2 minutes and allow yourself to think the worst possible thoughts about the situation. Really go there. Imagine every catastrophic outcome. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's based on a principle called paradoxical intention. When you give yourself permission to think negatively for a limited time, you're taking control of the process rather than being controlled by it. After 2 minutes, the thoughts often lose their power because you've faced them directly rather than fighting them. Fighting negative thoughts actually strengthens them through a process called thought suppression rebound. The 5th method leverages your brain's prediction system. Your mind is constantly running simulations about the future, and negative thinking hijacks this system to run disaster movies on repeat. But you can redirect this same neural machinery. Spend 3 minutes each morning visualizing your day going well. Not perfectly, but well. See yourself handling challenges calmly, interacting positively with others, and accomplishing your goals. This isn't positive thinking fantasy. It's mental rehearsal, the same technique athletes use to improve performance. You're literally programming your brain's predictive system to look for positive outcomes instead of threats. Method 6 is based on the neuroscience of social connection. When you're trapped in negative thinking, you're essentially stuck in your own echo chamber. Reach out to someone, not necessarily to talk about your problems, but to engage in any form of genuine connection. Send a text asking how someone's day is going. Call a friend. Even petting an animal works. Social connection triggers the release of oxytocin, which naturally counteracts cortisol and activates your brain's calming system. Studies show that just 60 seconds of genuine social interaction can reset your nervous system faster than most other interventions. The seventh method is what I call the evidence audit. Your negative thoughts present themselves as truth, but they're actually hypotheses that need testing. When a negative thought appears, ask yourself for evidence. Not feelings, not assumptions, but actual evidence. If you're thinking everyone thinks I'm incompetent, what's the actual evidence for this? Usually you'll find the evidence is thin or non-existent. This technique is rooted in something called the scientific method, and it works because it engages your brain's analytical systems rather than its emotional reaction systems. Here's the crucial part that most people miss. These methods work best when you use them before you desperately need them. Your brain learns through repetition, and if you only practice these techniques during crisis moments, you're trying to learn to swim while drowning. Spend just 5 minutes each day practicing one or two of these methods when you're feeling neutral or positive. You're building what psychologists call emotional regulation skills, and like any skill, they get stronger with practice. The research is clear. People who consistently use these evidence-based techniques show actual structural changes in their brains within 8 weeks. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system, becomes less reactive. The prefrontal cortex, your rational mind, becomes more active. You're literally rewiring your neural networks to default to resilience instead of reactivity. Remember, negative thoughts aren't your enemy. They're information, often outdated and inaccurate information, but information nonetheless. These 7 methods don't eliminate negative thoughts. They change your relationship with them. Instead of being hijacked by every mental storm, you become the calm observer who can choose how to respond. That's not just psychological theory, that's practical freedom, and it's completely within your reach starting right now.